Oh hey there. This setting probably looks different because I moved into my college apartment. Maybe I'll give you a tour sometime if you guys want. Hey guys, it's Shahir, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how to improve your ACT score as much as you want and as much as possible within just 1 week. You can actually improve to a 36 within a week. I'm just kidding, you can't do that. It's going to be extremely difficult, but there are still a lot of things you can do to get as high as possible within just a few days. I've tutored many students who have improved their scores quite a bit within just a few days, and you can do the same if you take into account a few different things and don't make some silly mistakes. Now what those do's and don'ts are, I'm going to talk about in this video. And if you follow those things, you should improve your score at least a few points within just 7-8 days. Now before we get into the video, just going to mention, if you need practice content, which I'm going to be talking about repeatedly in this video, use the link in the description. There are 7 free practice tests because the ACT folks made a new one. So 7 free official practice exams that are just like the real ACT test. And they're linked down below. All you have to do is enter your email on our website and you can access them. Second, be sure to like and subscribe and comment because it helps our YouTube channel grow and we can make more content for you guys. So you improve for free without paying us anything. And last, if you do want to pay us some money, there are paid courses too if you want to check that out. Link in the description. Now, that's all I had. So let's get into the actual content. What exactly should you do? I'm gonna give you 5 steps. 5 Academy, 5 steps. Does that make any sense? So 5 things you should follow or things that you should or shouldn't be doing in order to get that score that you want. And these are sequential, okay? These are things that you can do in order. So I would recommend you write these things down as this video goes on. And by the end of it, you'll have a study plan of what you should do step by step by step for the next few days, and you can start implementing that as soon as possible. First step is that since you have a very small amount of time, you can't prep everything. You can't improve in every little area. So what I would recommend you do is pick 1 or 2 sections that you feel like either you are the weakest in or that you feel like you have the most potential for improvement in. Really, that's the same thing. Okay, just pick 1 or 2. And you're gonna focus on those 2 sections, 1 or 2 sections, for the next week. If you focus on 3 sections or 4 sections, it's gonna be too much, you're gonna feel overwhelmed, and you're not really gonna be able to make high quality, sustainable improvement in all of those sections within just a few days. If you want to improve in a few days, you have to do it through just practicing a couple sections. So for example, in my own case, my reading and my science scores were always very, very low compared to my English and math. And that's why when I took the ACT exam, each time I would spend those last few days or that last week doing more reading and science practice than I did English or math. I would do like, for every 1 or 2 English or math exams, I would do like 3 or 4 reading and science ones. And that helped me improve my reading and science quite a bit. My science ended up being my highest score. So try it, this works. Step 2, okay, once you've picked 1 or 2 sections to focus on, you wanna practice that section ideally every day for the next week. If you need to take a little bit more of a relaxed approach, practice it once every 2 days. So for example, you could have a schedule where you take your 2 sections. Let's say your 2 sections are English and math, okay? On Monday, you do English and math. You do practice tests for 1 for English, 1 for math. You do it with timing and everything. And then the next day, on Tuesday, you do English and math. On Wednesday, you do another English and math, okay? And you do this for a week. By the end of the week, you'll have gotten a ton of practice in, and that'll help you get a lot of improvement. If you need a more relaxed approach, you know, something that gives you a little bit more time or leeway because you're really busy, then maybe you do something like Monday English, Tuesday math, Wednesday English, Thursday math, whatever it is, okay? But at least once a day you should be practicing on average because you need practice frequency and you need to build that practice volume. Why exactly? I'm gonna talk about in the next few steps, okay? But just keep in mind, you need to first choose a section or 2, and then you need to practice those sections as much as possible. I would say no more than just every day. Step 3, okay? This is something that you should not be doing, okay? Do not just practice sections. Like, don't just take practice exams. Your task over the next week is not just to go through all 7 of the practice exams that are linked below on our website. Your job is actually to do what I'm going to talk about in step 4, but you want to review your practice exams. So for example, if you get a question wrong, like actually understand why you got it wrong, because you're going to see that same type of question on your next practice exam. The question types repeat. People don't understand this and they overestimate or underestimate the importance of reviewing your mistakes. Okay, so if you get a question wrong, especially on English or math, because English and math are so skill heavy, make it a point to review that question, go over it, understand why the correct answer is correct, understand why your answer is incorrect. And if you do this little by little over the next week, and if you practice a lot, you will have gone over so many questions and you will have reviewed so many questions and understood so much content that you'll actually get better and better at the skills that are tested in each of these 4 sections. It really works well. It's so beautiful, right? But on the flip side, if you just keep practicing, then you're really just gonna be spinning your tires in the mud. You're just gonna be doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you might not be improving because you're not actually learning anything. And that brings me to step number 4, which is the definition of insanity. The definition of insanity, I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it's kind of a meme. The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again but expect different results, okay? If you do the same strategies again and again and again and again, and you notice that it's not really working or that you're kind of stuck, you probably need to change something. And it's okay to change your strategy. One of the things that I encourage you to do, especially on reading and science, is play around with skimming methods, timing methods, this and that. I've gone over this a million times on our YouTube channel. But don't be afraid to change your strategy. If you feel like a timing method's too strict, maybe do something a bit more lenient, okay? Now what exactly these strategies are, I'm not gonna go in depth in this video because that's gonna make this video a 46.5-minute video, which you don't have the time to watch because you have 1 week to prep for the ECT exam. What you can do instead, if you wanna learn about different methods to experiment with for reading and science specifically, because that's where this is more important, then I will link some things down below in the description. If I forget, please remind me in the comments and I will send the links. But just a recap of the steps so far, we have 1 left, but the first step was to pick a section or 2 that you're gonna focus on. Step 2 was to practice that section, ideally every day, but every other day if you need to, okay? Step 3 is to actually review your mistakes. And step 4 is to play around with strategies, experiment with different things so that you're not just insanely practicing and doing the same thing over and over and over again, because that sucks. I have made that mistake myself and I suffered from it, so I don't want you to do the same because like I said, it's just a bad situation. You're putting so much time into practice and you're not improving at all from it. And step 5, that is the last step. It is to not overwork yourself. I know I'm giving you a lot of things, but if you're someone who hasn't prepped at all for the ACT exam, and if you're someone that's busy with school starting right now because it is September, you don't want to do too much because you might burn out and hate yourself for it. That could actually hurt your performance in school. That could actually hurt your performance on test day. It could hurt your mental health. So I'm assigning all these things to you, but at the end of the day, it's your decision. If you want to put in a lot of work and get some improvement in the next few days, you can do that, but do it at your own risk because at the end of the day, you're going to be doing a lot of work and you might have, you know, actual school things or sports or like jobs that you're a part of, and those things are important as well. So don't compromise and just ruin the rest of your life and ruin your mental health just so that you can get a score on this exam that you could just take again in a month or 2. So keep that in mind. You might end up, you're most likely, a lot of students end up taking this exam again because they cram, like people watching this video and like myself, taking it 5 times. So just keep in mind, it's not the end of the world if you can't get your improvement to where you want it this weekend. There's always a next test. There's always a next test date in a few months. And that is how I have personally helped students like myself, as well as other students that I've tutored, to improve to a few points plus within just a week. If you follow these steps, there's a good chance that you'll at least get better at the exam, even if you don't improve, which doesn't make sense because if you get better at the exam, then you should be improving. But regardless, it'll help you improve your score, okay? So I hope this was helpful. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask in the comments. If I have some time on my hands, I will do my best to answer them. Be sure to like and subscribe. There are free paid resources down below as well, like including free practice exams. And I will hopefully remember to link the videos that I talked about for reading and science strategies that you could play around with in the description as well. So you can try those and start experimenting, you know, with your reading and science methods. All right, there is someone outside my apartment, so I'm going to go look at that. But that is the end of the video. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.